So what the hell is a totally uncool version of Jimi Hendrix meets Django in a red kimono doing in the streets of Lecce, Italy? This is completely uncool. I'm not even fit as to wear this tight shirt. I'm kind of sweaty and stuff. I shouldn't even be vlogging because I'm not presentable. So you might be asking yourself, what the hell, Alex? Why are you dressed that way? Here's some food for thought if you're asking yourself this question. So why am I dressed this way? Well, obviously I dress this way because I like it. But most especially for me, this is a practice of artistry. Now let me explain. Say if I was a famous person right now, will.i.am or something like that, then people would look at me and think, oh, that's the new style from will.i.am, then I'm gonna emulate that. I'm gonna buy those clothes tomorrow and I'm gonna wear them and stuff like that. But since I'm a normal person, people may think, oh, this is weird. What the hell is that guy doing with a camera talking to himself? And here's the fucked up part. I'm doing the exact same thing that a famous person would do. But since I'm not famous, it's like I'm not allowed to do these things. That kind of mentality is what prevents people from putting their art out there. And sometimes, like, I talk with some musicians and stuff like that, and I hear their music and I hear them playing and stuff. And I'm like, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have somewhere where you put your art out there? And they're like, no, this isn't cool, this isn't good. I shouldn't have a channel. And I'm like, dude, if you had a channel yourself, you will become instantly famous because it's so freaking great what you're doing. And here's the thing, like the fact that we don't feel like we have permission to actually be ourselves before we become famous is what is gonna prevent anyone from becoming famous. Like the fear of standing out in a crowd, which is what you do when you dress this way in freaking South Italy and you're black. If you're black in South Italy, you already stand out. It's one thing. But if you dress this way, it's even worse, right? So if you have that fear, you're never gonna get anywhere. Even if you're freaking great, people are never gonna notice because you're afraid and you're hiding. So what do you have to do? See, like people are laughing because they are so afraid of standing out. They see someone who does that. And there's two emotions you can feel towards that. One, you can feel like, oh, this is so funny, he doesn't understand how stupid he looks. And two, wow, I laugh because other people are laughing, but actually I admire that guy because he's so bold and he's doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. So if you're in the first category where you laugh, then I have to say I'm kind of sad for you because you're not understanding what is the foundation, in my opinion, of living a freaking great life, which is being yourself, being bold enough to be you, dress the way you want to dress, as long as you're not naked and stuff like that. But if you're the second category, inside you think, oh my god, this is so cool, then you need to unleash those wings and start to fly. I believe that the journey as an artist is like multifaceted. There's multiple levels, multiple challenges that everyone faces. In the beginning, you just like the fact that the challenge is like maybe writing a track or doing a painting or something and publishing it on the internet. That's the first thing, the first step, which many people are stuck at that level. But you know, maybe sometimes you get over the level and then the second challenge becomes like criticism. And that hits you hard because you're like, when you can create art, you're like, I put my soul and heart into this, I wish everyone likes it or something. And sometimes no one cares, and sometimes people care only if you leave bad comments about how you equalize the snare wrong or something like that. And you're like, oh fuck, I should have learned EQ before putting out the song. So the next song you compose, you're gonna spend all your time learning how to equalize perfectly, but that's not what matters. So in that sense, the challenge becomes sort of like perfectionism, right? You need to start not listening to that voice that tells you, hey, you need to spend 5 hours EQing that snare so it's perfect, so people have nothing to say. It comes a point where you start to really realize that someone leaving a comment about a snare doesn't really mean anything for your art at all, because art is all about art is all about like expressing yourself, right? And that's what people respond to. And once you start to realize that and you embody that in your music, you get to the point where you actually start releasing stuff that is not perfect, but that you feel like it's freaking great. And that's where you start to publish loads of music, loads of art and stuff like that without caring too much about quality. And that's where you start getting results. Maybe some of your pieces get noticed and you're like, wow, I didn't even spend so much effort in making this perfect, but it still got freaking placement in Avengers. That's what happened to me. So that's cool. There's also the third stage, which goes back kind of to the first one, at least for me. This has been my journey, so this is just my commentary on the journey and why I'm dressing this way. The third stage is, you know, you've gotten to the point where you make art, you publish art frequently, you get results, you get attention, that's great. But maybe now you're starting to get stuck and you're getting all those weird, you know, feelings of, okay, I can do this, but I'm not feeling it anyway, like anymore. I don't like what I'm doing anymore. Once you get there, maybe you never get out and you stop making music at all. And here's the thing. maybe through people's praise of you learning how to do this thing and putting yourself out there and stuff like that, you learned what people like and what they do not like. You learned that maybe using certain formulas now gets you great results, and actually trying to be more experimental and trying new stuff might get you some weird like looks and might get you some weird comments from people saying, I like your old stuff best, you know, and stuff like that. This is a stage where you either sink or swim, in my opinion. What happens here is that you have defined the boundaries, the cage that blocks your creativity. You're like, this works. I know this works. This is all I'm gonna do now. And when you start thinking that way, of course, it becomes boring. It becomes like a job, like a manual thing, formula seeking. You do the same thing over and over. You don't feel the joy of it anymore. And you feel kind of trapped. And that's the reason why you feel writer's block, because you want to go out of those boundaries. You want to go out of what you know works. But you're like, if I do that, then people are not gonna be happy about it. And here's the thing, if you do that, if you start experimenting, if you start to go outside of your comfort zone, of course, lots of people are not gonna be happy about it at first. However, it is there that you're going to discover new styles. Maybe you're gonna start composing in a new entire genre. Maybe you're gonna discover a new technique. You're the first person to use it because it's so weird, and once you use it, it actually makes sense, and others start to use it too. I suppose that's how the dubstep wobble was invented. I suppose years ago, the idea of automating some equalizers to create these effects was like, what the fuck, man, this is so weird, why do you even do that? And now, look at us, we use it all the time in dubstep songs, and it's amazing. So there was a first weird person who did that. How do you get to the point where you start experimenting like that, boldly? Well, the way I found is start to embody the idea of actually going outside of your comfort zone all the time, in any ways possible. A great way to do that, for example, is what I'm doing right now. Dressing in a way that I like, and then I know we'll get some stares from people because it's not normal for 2019 conventions of fashion and shit like that. And I never cared for fashion when I was little. I don't care for fashion even now, and I don't think this attire is like fashionable. It's just my style, the things I like. The fact of going outside like this will put me to the challenge of actually standing out without good attention. So maybe some people who see me that are into this style are gonna again think like, oh my god, that's so bold, that's amazing. But maybe 90% of people who are not there yet will think, who's this fucking loser, right? And I want to expose myself to that sort of vibe as much as possible, facing it, you know, noticing, okay, if people feel that way towards me, I don't die, I survive, and actually feel good because I'm doing what I like. When you start to expose yourself to those, you know, sort of like vibes, to getting out of your comfort zone in as many ways as possible. It can be dressing in a way that is particular, it can be recording a video live in the streets for people looking at you and laughing like before, doing stuff that people normally wouldn't do, singing in the streets, talking to strangers, all those things that make you feel uncomfortable. Do them as much as possible, because then you start to stretch your muscle and you start to exercise your muscle of going out there and do what you like in spite of what people think. And then when you sit down and compose music or make art and stuff like that, that muscle is the one you're going to use to actually go and dive into new formulas, new ideas, without caring what your audience is going to think. And that's what's leading me to make intros of my songs where I sing falsetto, even if I'm not a singer at all, and stuff like that, you know. And some of these experiments are going to be total shit, but you're not going to care because you know you're doing it for research. You're doing it to, like, you know, increase your level to phase 4, which I don't really know what it is because I'm not yet at phase 4. Maybe I'm gonna make a video about it when I uncover the secrets of it. But yeah, that's pretty much what the fuck is Jimi Hendrix meets Django meets YouTube vlogging doing in the streets. All like sweaty and talkative, raw and true. Just wanted to give you guys some food for thought, and that's it. Bye bye.